So I got a message this morning from somebody, and I'm probably going to get these types of messages forever. And they used to get me upset before, but not any longer, because believe it or not, they got me upset because I didn't understand what was causing them. So I guess it was my own frustration, per se. A lot of copper, a lot of copper. That's what we want to see. A lot of copper. Okay. Well, towards the bottom here, it looks like we might have about 10 coppers in here if we're lucky. So the person made a comment on one of my videos, and they said, "That's not doubling, right?" Now, for those of you who've been following the channel, you realize that I don't use the term double die very often anymore. I mean, I might go through a whole video and not say so. I'll look at this later, but I mean more closely. But you can see the little marks up here and over here, the shapes. You got to wonder what that is. And of course, we have a little grease strike here. All right, I'll put that to the side. We'll look at it again later. So the person said, "That's not I guess I called something a double die. Excuse me. I guess I said that there was doubling. He didn't say double. He goes, "That's not doubling." That's what he said. And I understand now. I understand the difference. It took me a long time to realize the difference between doubling and a double die. It's got to be like the first giant leap. It's like going from addition and subtraction to multiplication and long division. It's a huge step, and it takes a whole different thought process to interpret, to digest, to understand. Oh, that nice. That is nice. That is wonderful. Ooh, I wonder what happened here. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer to see if we can figure out what's going on here. Oh, that's nice. I can't tell what's going on. I just like the way it looks. All right, let's take a picture of this. This might be our thumbnail. All right, we'll figure it out later. So, oh, nice 2024. He said, "That's not doubling." And it's because he doesn't know the difference, or she doesn't know the difference. I think it was a he. Doesn't know the difference between doubling and a double die. And it's an honest mistake. It really is. And I guess that's why I understood, and I didn't get offended or anything like that, because it's an honest mistake. It's a noob mistake. And I know, because it's complicated, man. It's very complicated. Very, very complicated. So a double die, or a true double die, is when the die, one of the dies that that make the working die. The working die, there's several, and I think they use the term hub, right? I think the term hub is interchangeable with the word die. I don't think, and it also might be a part of the die, might be the part of the bottom. The die might be the whole thing, and the hub might be the bottom part that strikes. Um, could be. I'm not exactly sure. That's a nice looking penny. It's probably the nicest one we found today. Could be. I'm not sure, but I know that I've seen people use it. When I read it, it appeared that you used it, the term, interchangeably between hub and die. They'll say the working hub, the working die, and again, it could be the uh, the fact that they were talking about a specific part of the die. I'm not sure, which would be the bottom part. That part I'm pretty sure about. Anyway, so there are several hubs. I believe it's three. It's at least two, but I think the total is three hubs to make one, to make the final working hub, right? Which would be the third one. I believe that's the case. Who would know about that? One of my members is very knowledgeable. His name is Eric from Kenai Collectibles. If anyone knew, it would probably be him. I could look it up, but I'm going by memory right now, and I'm looking for the extra V. No extra V. And so there's three hubs, and if any of those hubs strikes each other for a second time or a third time, whatever the case may be, it will create doubling on the hub, right, on the die, which makes the coin, right, the final coin, which is what we use for currency, which is called the working die, the working hub. That's the final die. Prior to that, there's either one or two other hubs that come into contact with said hub, the working hub, which is the final one to that makes the coin. Okay. So the true double dies are a result of hubs hitting each other in creation of the working hub, creating a second image, whatever that is, even if it's a little tiny notch, because one hub, when it struck the other hub, tilted slightly, whatever the case may be, from the very slightest notch to extreme doubling, those are true double dies. Now, for argument's sake, no extra V. You have a perfect hub, right? The L is light on the 23. You see the grease or whatever it is. I think it's probably grease. See, the L is light, and you can see the little um, discoloration or the uh, change to the surface, the field going around the edge there. Most likely from grease. So let's say you have a perfect hub, right? A perfect die that's made. There's no errors on it. It's inspected. It's fine, and it's going to make the coins. Now that die is not capable of making a double die coin, and I think that's where people get confused, and it's where I used to get. Anyways, where I used to get confused. That die is incapable of making a true double die because it's not doubled. There's no doubling on it. Yeah, this might be a good example. Let me see. And this might be a good example. The R is doubled. Yeah, I don't like this one. All right, so far we only have 2 copper pennies, so it's not jam packed full of copper, that's for sure. Ejection error, probably. Three copper. So hopefully before the end of this video, I'll have a good example of a doubling on a coin. Doubling. Not a true double die, just double. If I find a true double die, that's even better. That was a copper. That's our 4th copper. Like I said, we might have 10. You might get lucky at which, so 10 copper pennies would be, what percentage of copper would that be? Right, so you double the amount of coins, and that's your percentage, right? So 10 copper pennies doubled would be 20%. You doubled the 10, you got 20, and that's how you know the copper amount. This is number 5. Oh no, I really thought this was copper. So usually on the copper pennies is where I find the most doubling. And I'm going to stay on that point until I find one. If I don't, then oh well. Usually there's at least one copper penny that has doubling on it in a penny roll. Not yet. Figures. Now sometimes I do miss it, right? Because if you're watching this on a big flat screen TV, then you're going to see things that I miss, right? Because of the resolution. So there's 3 types of doubling. There's 3 types of doubling, non double die doubling. There's mechanical doubling, abrasion doubling, and die deterioration doubling, DDD. So those are the 3 types of non true double true double die doubling. And then the true double dies, there are 9 classes of true double dies. That's when, again, like I said earlier, at some point, 2 hubs restrike each other for a second or third time accidentally, or they restrike each other, and there's an error in the strike in the final creation of the working hub that makes the coin. So those are the 9 classes of true double dies. And then, like I said, the 3 classes of doubling, right? Non-double die doubling is die deterioration, mechanical doubling, and abrasion doubling. Abrasion doubling has to do with die clashes. Die deterioration is kind of what it sounds like, which is 98. We're looking for the look how light the O is in God. Oh, that's an error. No wide AM. The 98. We're looking for the wide AM, but that O is so. The O is very light. Wouldn't be probably something got a little bit of grease got inside the channel, right? Because to make the letters, to make everything, there's well, specifically the letters, numbers, and the rim. The rim channel is called a gutter. I guess because it goes around the whole coin. I'm calling the letters and the numbers. I'm calling those channels, right? So if grease gets in it, then it can't. The metal, the coin will not go into the channel, and it'll leave what looks like a light strike. So wouldn't surprise me if that's from. Also has it on the R a little bit. Could be a little grease that got into it. Yeah, I remember when I was looking at the specific details of a coin, specifically the rim, and it said, "Oh, some grease got stuck." Right, if you're missing the rim, there's a good chance that grease got into it. And when I was researching that, I learned the term gutter, and I thought rim gutter, and I thought that was pretty cool. I never heard anyone reference that, and it's again that's the part of the die, right? The gutter's on the die. So far, we are still in at 5 copper pennies. Let's see. Do we have 5 more here? We got 3. I think we have 3. I don't think we have 5. So we're going to end up with 8 probably, and then that'll be 16%. That's okay. 92. We are looking for the wide AM, the opposite of the 90, the 98, 99, and 2000. Hold on a second. No. We're looking for the close AM. Excuse me. Wide AM on the 98, 99, and 2000. Close AM on the 92. I was like, all right. Yeah, if you find a close AM, that's worth. I think it's worth $100 in good condition. Yeah, I guess this is. I'll leave this one for last in case the other ones don't have it. But that's doubling there. You can see it in the God, the God, and the trust, especially the first T. All right, I'll leave that there in case we don't find another good example, and we'll end the video on that. Here goes number 6 copper. I have to look at the Liberty. Oh no, this might be a better example. Let me look at this. Typically, it's the copper. Oh yeah, this is a really good example. Specifically in the motto. This, believe it or not, this might be a true double die, which is funny. I don't know if I'm going to go into the whole research thing of what class it is. I might do that. I'm thinking it's class 1, if I remember correctly. So maybe we have an example. That might be a true double die, and that's mechanical doubling. Not mechanical doubling, deteriorated die. So mechanical doubling has to do with the strike. Here's a 2017. I will not keep this one. Unless I clean it. I'm not cleaning that. All right, it was another 2017. I will keep this one. The mechanical doubling is from the strike. Strike. It tilts a little bit. It's off centered, and the die shifts, or the planchet shifts, or the anvil die shifts. Something moves, and it results in a doubling of something. Right? Could be the whole coin. It could be very beautiful. A mechanical doubling could be and valuable. Right? If you have a severely uh, mechanically doubled coin, someone's going to want to buy that. I would buy it. Now, a true coin, aficionado might not. Look at the reverse. Look how gold that is. Uh, Look at that. The question is that post mint damage? Probably, most likely. Looks kind of cool though. Let me look at that. Hard to tell, to be honest with you. Interesting how the reverse is so golden. All right, it's interesting. And our final coin of the day is the copper. I think this is number 8. All right. So if you look at the letters, everything looks the way it's supposed to look, more or less. Right? Now, if we look at all right, so let's go back to the other 2 coins. So on the Liberty here, let me use my pointer. You can see the line going through the R right there. And the G and the O and the OD, the GOD, both in all of God, you can see a line on the bottom, right? So we'll stick with that. So you can see the doubling on the GOD, right? There's a line on the bottom that looks like it's creating separation, but it's not. You can see it. I don't know about that. It's in the GOD. So that's because of the die itself. The die is old. It's used up, and it's starting to create. It deformed. The die has deformed. So when it makes the letters, there's little lines in it. but the lines are inside. This isn't even mechanical doubling. It's really the die is deteriorated. The working hub is deteriorated that made this. And they put little lines inside of the letters. So that's a deteriorated doubling. And it's not a very good example, but you can see the little lines in there. So, and that has no value, right? That's not even it's not even interesting. Now, this one. Now, copper, right? Solid copper coins, in this case, penny. It's a harder material than zinc, so they damage the die quicker. So you'll see a lot more deteriorated die. You'll see a lot more deteriorated dies on copper coins because the planchet is harder. The coin is harder. And if you look here, let me go a little close. Let me zoom in. I'm bringing the coin closer to the phone, and that's not working. We want to zoom in. Well, I think it's the U really that's the best example. Now the question is this mechanical doubling, right? Did the die shift when it got hit? Or did the die get hit incorrectly by the other die that made the working die? And that's the question we're asking ourselves here. So, is it doubling or is it a double die? That's the question that we're ultimately asking ourselves. And you can see it here in the bottom of the W, in the bottom of the O, the bottom of the G, and I don't know if this matters or not, but the top of the I, the G, the O, the D, the T look thicker. Okay. Obviously, on the bottom of the R, on the top of the S, you have these. They look deformed, right? Some of the letters look deformed. Let's look at the reverse real quick. I don't think so. So what people tend to do now is they tend to research the image, right? They'll look in the cherry picker books, they'll go to copper coins, Wexler, Konica, and they'll look for the specific, because remember, if the die is doubled, right, that created that has a double die on it, right? If it was struck again prior to making coins at the mint, all the hundreds of thousands of coins that it made will have that doubling. So there's a good chance it's recorded somewhere, it's documented. So that's what people will do. They'll look for, and that's where you get the code, right? Whatever it is, WS 001 dash 0, and they'll document it. Sometimes you even get pictures. So this one here, to me, it looks like it's spreading towards the center. It looks like there's a spread towards the center. So there's a chance that this is a double die. Now, if it's not a double die, what is it? It's doubling, right? So we went in full circle in this video back to the comment that the person said, that's not doubling. It is doubling. At minimum, it's doubling, right? So when I say something is doubled, it's because I'm unsure. Well, I could be unsure if it's a double die, like in this case, right? I said there's doubling there. If I think something's a double die, I'm going to call it a double die. If I think something is not a double die, I'll say it looks like it has doubling. And that's the key difference. I know it's a little complicated, but that is the key difference. A double die has doubling, but doubling doesn't have to be a double die. It could be mechanical doubling, abrasion doubling, or die deterioration. So that's one of the large challenges for someone who wants to learn about double dies, is to learn that basic. That's like jumping from addition, again, to long division. It's a big jump, right? And it takes a mental shift to understand the difference between the two. Again, this one here could be a double die, right? And again, I'm looking at that U specifically. You got the R, but the R could be part of the deteriorated die or mechanical doubling. Same thing with the U. It could be. It could be mechanical doubling. But it does look like it is double towards the center, which I believe is a class 1. Even the Liberty looks extra thick. Look at the B. Let me turn it around. The light's coming better from the other side. No, that didn't help at all. But you can see the line going up the side of the B. And is that doubling? It is doubling. Is that extra thickness? Is that a type extra thickness? Well, there's a few of them that are extra thick, but mostly it's the class 6. So is this a class 6, a class 8, a class 1? That's the question. All right, so we're going to end on that. I hope that helps out with understanding the difference between doubling, non-double die doubling, and double die doubling. All right, there's also links below in the description. That's how I learned, from, of course, also from assistance from my members. I hope that was helpful. Please click like and subscribe. God bless. And I'll see you in the next one.